time to change the oil in my WaveRunner VX Limited. This is a 2017 with the TR-1 motor. And if you're like me, if you've ever taken these to the dealer to get this done, it's gotten very expensive. So 8 to 9 years ago, I stopped taking these to the dealer and I changed the oil myself. I'm going to go through exactly the process I use to change the oil on this Yamaha TR-1 motor. These are the tools that we're going to need to do this oil change. And the first time you buy this stuff, say your pump and everything, it's going to cost a little bit more on that initial oil change, but after that, you're going to spend a lot less than the dealer charges, and it's really not that difficult to do. I'm going to go over all of this equipment and the oil and the filter that we need to do this oil change. Don't worry if you miss anything, just check the links in the description in the comments below, and I'll have a link for all of this. First thing I was going to tell you about is this pump. You're going to need an extraction pump. Some people like electric extraction pumps. I bought this one, it wasn't that expensive, and I've just used it for the last 8 years, so I'm used to this one. One thing I do like about this pump is each one of these ribs here equals a quart of oil, so it's easy for me to tell how much I've extracted. You're definitely going to need some type of funnel. Sometimes you can get paper funnels that are disposable. I recommend getting a nice plastic funnel because you're going to do this every year at least, and you can always use a funnel around the house for other projects. In that kit though, with this pump, it does come with this part right here that goes on the top. We've got a dispensing funnel there that it comes with, and it's got this leader hose that I'll show you as we do this change in the video. For your oil filter on this specific motor, you're going to need I always use a Yamaha oil filter. Some people don't like to use the Yamaha. They like to find something local. But if I can find a part from the OEM, that's the one I'm going to use. And if you can see, you want to pause right there. There's the filter. You're going to need at least 4 quarts of oil. I like the Yamalube, and this is the Yamalube that I get right here. You may need a little bit more on standby, but most of the time 4 quarts gets me by, and I have a little bit left over because you can't get all of the oil out of this motor. So that is a 10W40 Yamalube. And for the filter, I recommend a filter wrench. You can use some other type. If this is like a socket style, this is a 65 millimeter. And again, I'll have those part numbers. You're going to need some type of ratchet and wrench to be able to take that filter off. And especially working on a jet ski or WaveRunner, I think it's easier to use a socket style like that. And then you're going to have Yamaha's tool there to put the motor on the water hose, because you're going to be running this to warm up the oil. Then you're going to be warming it back up when you're having to check the oil. So you definitely got to have that. And one thing I do to mine, I have a quick fitting on there, because on my water hose, I have a quick fitting. So it's easy to take this on and off when I switch to the next jet ski. You definitely have to have your WaveRunner outside, because you're going to connect this thing to the water hose to warm up the oil. So you're going to have water pouring out the back here. You're going to have water pouring out the side as you're warming this thing up. So bring it outside to do this job. I've already got this quick connect on my water hose right here. So that's where I was telling you, I actually have a quick connect fitting already on my water hose, so I can just change these attachments in and out. That connection is going to go right here on this ski. So you have to take this cap off. Before we go to the next step, never ever turn this water on while the ski is not running, or you're going to flood this engine. So very important step, do not turn the water hose on until you have cranked this ski. I have the quick fitting connected to the motor right here, and you want to twist that, make sure it locks in. Try to pull on this to make sure when you add pressure to the hose that it's not going to want to push this off, otherwise you're not going to have any water going to the motor. Do not turn this on yet though. We actually want to crank the WaveRunner first. Now turn the water on. While your ski is running on the water, you should see water coming out the back, and you may even see some water coming out the side. That is perfectly normal. You want to double check underneath this motor that you don't have water leaking out around the hose that's not getting into the engine bay right now. So I don't have any water leaking. I'm going to let this run for about 5 minutes to heat up this oil. That way it's easier to extract the oil. Okay, our 5-minute warm-up period is complete. Do not shut the ski off yet. You want to turn the water off first. Turning the water off first. Some of that water will stop dripping, and in the time you've shut the water off, you want to walk around, and now you can turn the ski off. I've got my pump set up where I put this piece right here, and it gives you this long, flexible, stiff hose to go down into the areas where you want to extract the oil. And I've got the pump on. I'm going to show you the two places that I extract oil on this jet ski. The first place I extract oil is right here where the dipstick is. The second place is going to be right here. This hose right here leads all the way to the bottom of the motor. So you're going to also, I've already taken this loose where I can stick the hose down in there and feed it all the way to the bottom of the motor and extract a little bit more oil there. I will also do once I take this filter off, but I take the filter off last. We've put the extraction hose into the area where the dipstick is, and then we've made a few pumps on here, and you should see a steady flow of oil starting to make it down there to your pump. You may have to continuously pump this, so that's why some people like the electric style. I've had good success with this, so I'm just going to stay with this. I'm going to go ahead and extract from this port, and then I'll show you on the next port. From the first port where the dipstick is, and remember I mentioned to you on this pump, if you measure these ribs, this is 1 quart. So we're now at 1, 2, and 3 is about how much we got out of that section. Once you're done, the pump, you're going to hear this kind of run out of air, and you're going to see no more oil passing through. So now I'm going to move to the next one, which on a TR-1 motor is this hose that's attached right here. So there's just a clip you got to move out of the way, and then this just pulls loose. I'm going to feed the tube in there and start pumping a little bit more oil out. Once you're in that tube and you pump the pump, you should see some of that oil coming out smoothly like it was earlier. Just keep adding pressure to the pump until you don't have any more oil coming through the tube. All right, we've got as much oil as we can out of that port right there. That got us maybe another 3/4 of a quart, almost another quart. Most importantly, if your oil was correct, your level was correct before you started this process, is remember how much oil you extracted. It's not how much the manual says. That's total volume. You will not get all the oil out of this motor. So remember how much oil you extracted, and that is how much you should be putting back in, not what the manual says, or you will overfill this motor. So keep a record of that, how much you think you pulled out. If you need to weigh that or anything, you can do that as well. But in my case, I'm going to probably go to 3.5 quarts, and then I'll check the oil and I'll add oil to it as I see that I need to. We are done with this port now, so we can just put it back on, and I'm going to slide this hose clamp back over in place. I've got my filter wrench right there on the filter. I line this bottom area right here with paper towels so it soaks up any oil that may drip in that area. Somebody may have a better way to do that. I've seen some guys say poke a hole in your filter. I don't like doing that though in case a piece of metal somehow got in there. The other thing I do is I hang a Walmart bag right here from this hook, from the back of the seat, and have it dripped right in this area right here. So as soon as I take this filter off, I can just throw it in here without getting a bunch of oil in the rest of the motor. Once you have the filter off, any of this extra oil, you're going to use your pump to extract from this side and down in the port right there. Once you've got that old oil filter and your rags out of the way, you want to make sure that that landing is very clean. Make sure that there's no extra O-ring or anything that got stuck on there. And now we're ready to put the new filter on. If you missed the part number, this is the Yamaha filter number that we're putting on there. I like to use Yamaha filters. Some people don't. That's the one I like to use though. And Yamaha did a good job on this filter, and they did have grease on that O-ring already. Just wipe your finger around that though to make sure it's spread evenly. If you ever get one that does not have any grease there, I recommend getting some of your new engine oil and wipe it around there. And I'm going to hand tighten this on to the filter location. I tighten the filter down by hand as much as I can until I can't tighten it anymore. Then I'm going to put my filter wrench back on. I'm going to do at least 1/4 to a half turn, just depending on how it feels. You don't want to go too tight because you'll never be able to get this filter back off. Ready to start putting oil back into the motor. Make sure your funnel is clean. We are going to fill the motor from the dipstick location. Don't confuse that with the top of the crankcase. Some people have put oil in here and they don't get it down into the motor. You're going to have to fill it back in where the dipstick is. If you forgot what kind of oil we're going to be using, this is the Yamaha Lube. This is 10W40. Some people use other oil. I like using the Yamaha brand, and like I mentioned, I've been using this for 7 to 8 years on this watercraft, and I have no issues with it so far. Now, remember how I mentioned to you, you need to remember how much oil you extracted. Don't go by what the manual tells you how much oil is in there, because that's the total capacity. That's not how much you extracted. If you started correctly and you pulled out the correct amount of oil that was already in there, count how many quarts you pulled out, and that's what you need to add back in. Now, right now on mine, like I mentioned, each rib is 1 quart. So I have 1, 2, 3, and I'm just under this rib
of number 4. So I'm actually going to start with 3.5 quarts of oil. When I warm this ski up, I'm going to check my level, and then I can add to it. Very important to not overfill this motor. You overfill this motor, you're going to bog it down. You're not going to get the speed that you had. You could damage the motor. So I would rather add oil to it than have to take oil back out. But if you do put too much in when you're checking the oil, you could extract more back out of this motor if necessary. So I always go a little bit under what I took out of the motor, and that is kind of my starting point. I was only able to get 3 quarts of oil down in that section where the dipstick is, so I took this drain tube back off that goes to the bottom of the motor, and I did add that 1/2 quart there before we start this back up. We're now ready to crank this motor back up. Remember what I mentioned to you, twist this connector on, make sure it's not pulling off. Do not turn this water on first. You want to crank the ski first. Make sure you put your oil dipstick back on. Make sure your filter is tight. You've got all the caps and everything back on, and you've put that hose right there back on where you were filling it in with oil. I let the ski run for about 2 minutes, and now I'm going to turn it off. Turn the water off first. Let some of that water stop dripping from underneath the ski there, and then now you can turn the ski off. All right, now we can start checking the oil on the dipstick. One thing they recommend you do is you screw the dipstick in to check the oil level. Don't just drop it in there on the top. So I've already made a notch on mine. Hopefully you can see that on the camera where the center is. So you have an empty line and you have a full line. Remember I told you I don't fill this all the way up to start with. So we're probably going to be somewhere in this low level for the first couple of oil checks. You want to barely pour it in there till you're right there at dead center, but you definitely do not want to go past that full line. So I always try to be dead center of this dipstick. Remember, every time you're checking this, you want to screw the cap down and then unscrew it to check the level. I've checked it a few times, and right now I'm right about center, but I'm going to let this engine cycle a little bit longer to make sure to see if that oil level is going to drop any, if I need to add a little bit more. I ran the ski for an additional 5 minutes, and I'm getting the same oil level, so we're going to leave it where it is. We have a trip to the lake tomorrow, and we'll double check it there. So I'm right here is my center line. I'm just a little bit above center line. I'm going to leave it there. We'll cycle it on the lake tomorrow, and then I'll double check this level to make sure if I need to add any more or not. All right, I got everything tightened back up. You want to make sure you've got your water cap back on here. Make sure your dipstick is fully seated. Make a double check right there where the oil filter is you didn't have any leaks during that. If you did, you may not have tightened that filter down enough. You also may not have cleaned that seal enough, so just check that area. That completes this oil change on a TR-1 motor in a 2017 VX Limited WaveRunner. Hopefully you found this information useful or helpful, and if you did, please subscribe and share. And that's to the point.